Unseen Realms by Myrika Jackson. Chapter 4. Entering Calandria. The glow from the camera screen was the only light in the room as they watched the mystery unfold in front of their eyes. Their breathing became slow and steady. The cookie slid deeper into the opening. Then a tiny hand dropped a shining object in its place. Amia rewound the tape and played it in slow motion. Now they could see that the shining object was a key. They jumped up, leaving the camera on the bed, and ran to grab the mop. Maybe they could knock the key out of the opening onto the floor. They balanced the mop as they did before, then stopped. What if they pushed the key further into the opening? Then they would never be able to get it. Kate ran into the kitchen and grabbed a magnet off the refrigerator. They tied the magnet to the end of the mop and hoisted it up. The key did not move. Kate got another idea. She went to her closet and pulled out a play fishing pole. It had a flat fake fish where the hook should have been. Kate cast the fish into the opening, trying to make it land past the key. She reeled it in slowly. They could hear the key sliding toward the mouth of the opening. Their hearts leapt as part of the key shone over the edge. Finally, it dropped to the floor. Amia picked up the key and ran toward Kate's room. They sat on the bed. The key was a beautiful work of art. It was very heavy and about the length of a small harmonica. The top was in the shape of an open heart. It was solid white gold with vines of yellow gold wound about it. They stared at each other with their mouths gaping. What do you think it goes to? Asked Amia. They stood up and walked over to Kate's bedroom door. The key was too large for the keyhole. They proceeded to try every door in the house with no luck. Next, they tried the lock on the tool shed, followed by the lock on the gate. Still no luck. They slumped down defeated under the oak tree in Kate's backyard. Now what are we going to do? Asked Kate with a sigh. They took turns holding the key. They turned it over and over in their hands, marveling at the beautiful detail carved into each leaf and vine, when they noticed something. Hey, this key has holes in it, exclaimed Amia. Let me see, said Kate. Amia handed the key to her and pointed out the holes. The holes remind me of something, said Kate thoughtfully. Oh, said Amia, as she took her backpack off and grabbed her flute. She held the flute up to the key, and sure enough the holes were very similar, only much smaller. I wonder if I can play something on it. Amia put her lips to the end of the key, placing a finger over each of the small round holes. With a gentle breath, Amia blew into the key. A spray of gold mist and the sound of wind chimes came out of the center of the open heart. The girls watched as the mist swirled around their heads, finally settling on the bark of the old oak tree. They hurriedly tried to wipe it off before Kate's mom saw it. As they wiped, a door appeared on the bark of the tree. The image of the door continued to get clearer and clearer until it looked like it had always been there. There was no knob, only a keyhole. Amia licked her lips as she raised the key to the keyhole. Kate flung an arm at Amia, grabbing her wrist. Wait! Would you just look at us? We can't go anywhere with these disguises on, screeched Kate. Amia forgot how silly she looked. She giggled as she pulled the blue wig off and stepped out of the pink tutu. Once they had stuffed all of the dress-up clothes into Amia's backpack, it was time to open the door. They each put a hand on the key as they slid it into the keyhole. 1, 2, 3. They turned the key until they heard a click and the door creaked open. Amia took the key out of the keyhole and put it in her backpack. The inside of the tree was dark and smelled like wet dirt. It took a couple of seconds for the girls to realize There were a set of stone steps descending deep into the earth. "You go first," said Kate. "Are you sure we should go in there?" asked Amia. "I bet it's a secret tunnel that leads to treasure," said Kate. "Where did you get an idea like that?" asked Amia. "From a movie I saw. They find a map and go in a tunnel. Then they find a bunch of gold and stuff," said Kate excitedly. "Okay, let's just see where these steps go," said Amia. Amia opened her backpack and pulled out her tiger flashlight. She pushed the button and the light came on with a loud roar. "That should scare any spiders away," said Amia, patting her tiger flashlight. Kate held Amia by the elbow as they made their way down the dark, damp stairway. The door slammed shut behind them. They both jumped and then froze. There was no knob or keyhole on the inside of the door. They beat their fists on the door until their arms were tired. Exhausted, they sat down. For a long time, the only sound they could hear was their own heartbeats echoing in their ears. Amia shined the flashlight over the damp wooden walls. She was searching for a latch or handle, anything to indicate that there was a way out. All she saw was mud and moss smeared in the crevices of the ancient oak walls. Just as they started to feel like they were buried alive, a sound came to their attention. It was the sound of rushing water.